kids are going to try to decide here on this new unit about exponents whether they should take a to the second and then times the 2 and the 3, or should they add the 2 and the 3, or should they subtract the 2 and the 3, or should they divide the 2 and the 3, or should you put the 2 to the power of the 3? Man, there's so many things you could do here. So let's get, Kennedy, could you shut that door for us? So lunch kids are being a little loud. So here's what you do. My strong advice is to write out what it means. Everybody make this a squared into a times a to the third. Do you get that's what a squared means? It means a times a. And now, what does to the third mean? It means a times a, and then another a times a, and then another a times a, and you do it 3 times. If anybody needs any Kleenex, I have a Kleenex box up here. I'll put one over my desk. Oh, there's one on my desk already. All right, feel free to use that, or head to the bathroom. All right, so this times this, that's what to the third means. Now, you can't look at that and at that moment say, oh, I think the answer is a to the 5th. Look at it. There's no way it's a to the 5th, right? So, that to the third means that. So, that must be a to the 6th, right? I mean, that's the only way that could work. Okay. So, bottom line, what should you have done with these two things? Multiply. But I don't want you to just go, oh, I'll just memorize that kind multiplies. Because you're going to get them confused. I know. That's what happens. So you got to have this backup method that I just showed you. All right. So what if I said 2 to the third? Well, that means 2 times 2 times 2. That one's too easy. What is 2 to the third, though? Say it. Well, I could write it like this, but what does it mean? What's the answer? 8. Good. Okay. So what's 2 to the second to the third? Well, you could say that then that's 2 squared is 4, and then 4 to the third. You could do that, but I don't want you to. I want you to think, didn't we just talk about that kind? What do you do to those two numbers right here and here? Say it if you know it. 6. You times them. Then the answer is 2 to the 6th. And then you can just go 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. I know you kind of get lost in that, but it ends up being, I think it's 64. Can anybody verify? 64? Okay. All right. But notice, you got to know these power rules. So there's all kinds of them. Let me show you another one. Everybody write this one down. 4a to the third over 2a. Now, the way I do these is the same way I just showed you. I suggest that you factor out the a to the third into a times a times a. And I suggest you to have the a on the bottom is just an a. And I think almost everybody's going to know that one of the a's is going to cancel now. That's the easy way to do this. Instead of going, well, should I subtract the powers on the a? Should I add the powers on the a? Should I move the a from the bottom up to the top? Just keep it simple. Write out what it means. And that 4, that's really 2 times 2. And that 2 down there, that's just still a 2. Because if you write it like this, everybody knows that this cancels this, and that can cancel that, and then that's the answer. What is the answer then? 2AA? What the heck is that? What's the answer? You should know AA means what? Yep, it's an exponent. 2a to the second is your final answer on that. All right, so problems for today typically look like that. Here's another one. If we just practice this enough, you're going to be like, this is easy. And go through and do the worksheet in 15 minutes, and then you actually probably 10 minutes for the worksheet, 5 minutes to put it in. I made this cool Schoology key for it. So you type in your answers and you hit go, and it tells you whether you're right or not. And then, if you want to, you can go back and put in the right answers for it, but you get the average of your 2 scores. So you don't want to just put in, because otherwise, if I don't do that, kids will put in crap, 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 hit enter, see all the answers, yay, I now get a perfect paper. So you got to do an average of the two scores. Okay, so here's a typical question. 3a to the second b over 6ab to the third. And my suggestion is, I call this the exploded view. They do that for like a lot of cool things. There's websites that'll show you the exploded view. Like they break up a plane into all of its little tiny parts. And the cool thing is, after you've written the exploded view out, stuff cancels. And it's super easy. Lily, what's something that would cancel on this one? B and B, you are correct. Those are gone. Avia.
Yeah.
I said it right this time.
Yeah.
What cancels?
The A.
Yep. Wait a minute. The A. One A on top and one on the bottom. Yeah. Okay. And then last but not least, Kennedy, what else cancels? Yep. And then, is there anything left on top? Yeah, so you put A on top, and then what's left on the bottom? 2. What else is left? B squared. And don't ever say that 2b2. No, that's 2b squared. Okay? B times B is B squared. It's not 2b. I get how you get confused, but times, when you times them, that means B squared. Okay. Now there's only one more thing. And then there's almost, we got a few minutes before lunch here, but you're going to get to lunchtime pretty quick. What if I had 2 times A to the negative second times B all over 4AB to the third? Well, you have to do one thing before you do exploded view, and it goes like this. This is kind of like a 2-level condo. There's the upstairs and the downstairs. The upstairs is called the numerator, downstairs is called the denominator. My dad used to live in a condo like this, and it had stairs on the outside that you had to go up if you wanted to get to the upper level condos. Okay? So there were people in those condos who started out pretty young when they had the condos, and they didn't care about the stairs when they were like 50, but all of a sudden now they're like 80 and they hate the stairs. Do you get that? Like really old people don't like to do stairs because you trip and fall, it can hurt. I know one person who tripped on their stairs and ended up like having a complete knee surgery because they tripped on stairs. If you're really old, you might fall down the stairs. You could actually die. So a lot of old people don't like the top floor of the condo. They want to stay on the bottom floor. Okay? My dad had a bottom floor condo. He's like, yeah, this is where it's at. The bottom floor is the best. Okay? But did you know that it's actually true that the upper floors are worth more money? Because they get better views and because there's less theft. Do you get, if you're on the bottom floor, it's easy to break into your condo? There's a window right there or a sliding glass door and you just push it open, grab stuff quick and get out of there. So people steal stuff on the bottom floor a lot more. So the upper ones, I can actually tell you how much typically. It's typically worth $10,000 more to be every floor up you go. So if you're in like Miami, and again, we're talking in millions of dollars, then it's more than $10,000 a floor. Like if you're getting a super fancy condo. But the higher you go, it's like 10 grand more, 10 grand more, 10 grand more to get higher, because then especially you're getting like an ocean view from really up high and it looks really cool. So the ones on top are more expensive and therefore you can argue they're probably more valuable. Better breeze, better view, less likely to be broken into. And on those kind of condos, you don't have to walk up the stairs. You just climb in an elevator, so it isn't that bad. So usually people like the upper floor better. But there's people on the bottom floor who wish they could go to the upper floor because, like, the view's better up there. And there's people on the top floor who have gotten old and wish they could be on the bottom floor because you don't have to climb all the stairs or you don't have to wait in the elevator. Okay, so Why all of that? Because you're going to do this like 5,000 times, and I wanted a good reason. These A's are unhappy. Would you agree negative kind of means unhappy? They're unhappy. They wish they were on the other side of the condo. They wish they were in the lower floor. So what you do is you move them down to the lower floor and make them be positive again. So if you ever have one that's negative, you move it to the other side. If they're on the bottom and they're unhappy, move them to the top. So it's only when you have negative exponents do you do that. You move them down or up to the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to exploded view this thing. 2 times, and the A's are gone off the top. I moved them. B, over. There's 2 A's down there, A, and then there's a 4, and then there's an A, and then there's a B. So the bottom got complicated, but there, that's the exploded view. Anybody can cancel once you got exploded view. Wait a minute. The 4 doesn't cancel the 2 unless I make it into 2 times 2, because that's what 4 is, right? Now, cancel. And technically what's happening, just to clarify, is it's changing a B over a B into a 1. I just want you to know that. This is like changing it to B over B, which is the same as a 1. So technically they're being replaced by 1s, but I don't make you show that. You can just cross them off. But what if there's nothing left on top? That's when you have to know that there's actually a 1 left on top. Okay, so then the answer is 1 over A. What about this A? They all go together. They're all like apples. Apple. That means apple to the third. I'm putting the 2 in front because you always put the number in front. A to the third. And then there was a couple B's left, so B squared. There's my answer. 1 over 2A to the third B squared. That was intense. So, moral of the story, on the condo thing, if you see something like 4A to the negative 2, B to the negative 3, those are both unhappy. They're going to go live in the basement because they'll be happy down there. And there's going to be an 8, A to the third, B to the negative fourth. But when these go down, these guys, they're going to go up. But then they're going to be positive. They'll be all happy because they're in the right spot. This is as intense as anything you'd have to do today. See if you can do it. Hint, break the 8 into 4 times 2 so the 4s can cancel. Make it exploded view. And I don't think it's that bad. Wait, I should have done it different. I said to leave the 4 on the top and make bottom 4 times 2. There we go. Now I'll do the A's in a different color. And then the 2 more A's that came down from the top. And then there's these B's that went up to the top. That part. And then there's the other B's that went to the bottom. And when you finally get exploded view done, I find it very satisfying. Cancel the 4s. Cancel 3 of the B's. And I got B on the top over 2, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A's. A to the 5th. Did anybody have the same thing as I did? That's a bunch of people. Okay. So, I put up a new, like, I had the secretary make a nice sign so that it'd be easier for me to see exactly when we're supposed to be out of here for lunch and stuff. So for this lunch is 12:43. So we've got a lot of time. Heck, we're going to probably get the worksheet done before you even go to lunch. So everybody take out the worksheet that's in today's folder. And would you read me the first question? And I got to tell you how we numbered it. It's kind of weird because there are no numbers. But The first problem, of course, is in the upper left, so. Find the worksheet. It's posted for today. And by the way, I do have your tests done, and I'll give them back to you after lunch. Jack, you haven't found it yet?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay, can you read me number 1? It's in the upper left-hand corner.
6x to the 7 over 2x to the 8.
Then, when you do problem 2, it's over here. Do you get the idea? I numbered across, and then the next row will be problems 3 and 4. The reason this matters that you number it, everybody please number it right now, is because the Schoology quiz assumes you know which problem is which. Okay, so for that first one, Jack, can you tell me how to break that into its exploded view? What does the 6 break into?
3 times 2.
Yep. And then it's x to the 7th. Do we really have to write out 7 x's? Nope, you don't. I'd be fine with you being smart and going, well, there'd be 7 x's on the top and 3 on the bottom. And so do you get that there's going to be a bunch that cancel? How many cancel? 3 of the x's will cancel. That means how many x's are left and where are they? On the top? Are there x's left on the top or the bottom? The x's are left on the top. And there's how many x's? X to the what left on top? Yeah. So in the end, couldn't you just subtract those two? Yeah. But it gets much more complicated when there's negatives. It wouldn't have just worked if there was negatives involved. Okay. So, I mean, it can, but you have to like do all kinds of strange things to it to make it work. So I recommend the exploded view. 2x, x, x. Oh wait, we already canceled our x's, so they're gone. And now those 2's cancel. And so what's the final answer for the first one? Avia, can you say it? It's up there, you just have to read it. What's the answer for number 1?
Wait. I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you on a different problem. Thank you. Thank you. It's just 3x to the 4th. There it is. It's the answer for the first one. Okay. And I guarantee you it's right. But you would have known that once you typed it into Schoology. I wouldn't do the Schoology type in thing until you're done with the whole worksheet. Just finish the worksheet. Type the answers into Schoology. There's only 6 or 8 questions. It'll go pretty quick. Yes?
Do we have to put it over 1?
No. I get what you're saying. But anything that's over 1... I had 6 over 1. Isn't it easier to just say 6? Yeah. If they're upside down, though, would you agree that 1 over 6 is totally different than 6? Okay, so you don't have to put it over 1. But if there's a 1 on top, yeah, you need to keep the 1 there. Okay. All right. This answer key also has things like multiple choice in it to keep it from being complicated to type in. So sometimes the answer is true or false. Is this the answer for number 4? And if you got something else, you're like, nope, that's not it. Okay, so finish the worksheet, and then in the second half of class, I'll hand back your tests, and you'll be able to check it, the Schoology quiz with the answer key provided. And we got a few minutes left, so I'm going to say that's all I have for the video for today, because it's just an introduction to how to do exponents.